Hey everyone, I'm Rachel, and this is Peggy. She's scratching at her cork log. I actually think this is how she files down her nails, which is pretty ingenious. I need to teach my other hamsters to do this because this is kind of amazing. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying this little sound bit, and welcome to season 2 of Rachel Got Hamsters, the podcast. I thought I was going to do more of a break here, take some time, maybe like catch up on some stuff that I had started and hadn't finished. And then, okay, so much happened in my hamster world, and I was like, I gotta keep going because otherwise this list is going to build up of stuff that's going on. So yeah, welcome to season 2. Thank you for everyone who listens. I think in between seasons, I took a moment and sort of like, I was like, is this on, right? I started with this on Spotify, and then I started releasing it also on YouTube, and, while I was sort of clicking around to figure out all my settings, I noticed that somehow I had made it available on Apple Podcasts too, which is cool. And then one person left me a comment, a 5-star review, which they left before they listened to it and then went back and added comments. Thank you for your review. It was very nice. Yeah, so it was very sweet, and it was nice to see that. And I think I saw some reviews on Spotify, just no words. It just was like, I think I have some good ratings. So that's lovely. Thank you. And some good feedback on YouTube as well. So all very appreciated. And thank you for listening so far. And again, yeah, if you have any suggestions or things you'd like, let me know. Anyway, so this week, so jumping right into my hamster life updates, hamster care journey. I love, if you watch The Bachelor and you've ever played like, a game around The Bachelor. It's, there's like a bunch of key words that they use, like journey. Yeah, I used to watch The Bachelor with some friends of mine, maybe like 10 years ago, but, every time someone said journey, we would take a drink. And, journey, there's a couple other ones. Like, I think I can see myself falling in love with you I don't know. We had all these other ones, but journey was a big one. And every time I like to say hamster care journey, hashtag hamster care journey, because it is a journey. We're all on a journey, and this is mine. I'm sharing it with you guys. And I think, this is what I try to bring that's different from maybe other YouTubers, is just sort of sharing my progress and my story, rather than like necessary how to, if I've done something, I'm happy to share it. And I would like to do like one collective like blog post and maybe podcast. Maybe I should just do a YouTube video about mites, because I do get a lot of questions about that, because mites are they're a real thing and they happen, and I dealt with them. And I'm happy to help any of you out there who have mite issues. Please let me know. I lost my train of thought. Anyway, yeah, I guess I'm here really to share my story and to share what's going on with my hamsters and what I'm learning, because I think that's what life is. And at any given moment, even if you are a quote unquote expert, and I definitely do not think I am, but there's so much more to learn. And as you know, as you get older in life, you kind of, one of the funny things is you kind of learn how much you don't know. Like, I think I had a lot more self-confidence in my knowledge when I was younger. Not that I don't have self-confidence, and I would say my self-confidence is more in my ability to figure things out at this point in my life, and less in my knowledge base. Like, I do have a knowledge base, and sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I do have that knowledge base, like when I'm at work or something. But I think a greater skill is learning that you can learn, and we can all learn, and we're all in this to learn. And speaking of that, I got this, I did this like 60-second hamster room tour and I had a few comments. Like, some people were like, wow, cool. And then like 2 comments were like kind of negative. And I responded, I guess I was a little frustrated, this one person, and she was very sweet, when I kind of pushed back on it. But she was like, like your get better care. Your hamsters need more enrichment. This is so sad. And I guess I got kind of frustrated with that comment, because I've seen, and I know I've talked about this on this podcast, I've seen this world. I think I see this in a lot of different aspects in my work life or hamster world. There is this like culture, there is especially, I think, this like strange sort of culture around hamsters where it's this like, I don't know, I know best and your care is terrible kind of thing. And I really don't like that attitude, because I think that everyone has the ability to change and be better. And the reality is that, like, if you're starting from a critter trail and you just got a hamster, the next day you're not going to have like an IKEA Lenman, like you're not going to have like the most ideal setup. It's just not how things go. You're probably going to start with a bin cage, and maybe you'll start with a 100-quart bin cage, and then you're going to realize that that's actually too small. And then you're going to upgrade to a 200-quart bin cage, and then you're going to feel like that's too small. And then you're going to get a large Vista, and then you're going to start making stuff on your own, and you're going to get all the cork, and you're going to get all the platforms and all the great wheels and all the cool ceramic hides, and you're going to learn how these things work, and that takes time. And so I feel like giving someone really like harsh negative feedback is just sort of like pushing them out rather than inviting them in and saying, you know what, yeah, maybe your care isn't great today, or maybe I wish you had better care. But the reality is you are here, you're trying to make this life a better life, this hamster life a better life. And that's great. And I commend anyone who is making that effort, whether or not you're in a small cage or a big cage, or you literally have an entire room dedicated to your hamster. Like there's one YouTuber who has like, it's just amazing. Her, I can never say the name. It's like Plu Schrott or something. I think she's in the Netherlands. It's like, she does her own pottery, and then like she's got this like expansive aquarium, and she only has I think 2 or 3 hamsters, and they take up like the whole room. Comparatively, like I have like 7 hamsters, and I try to make it work. And sometimes I admit I am a little bit stretched, and I wish that I had more stuff for all of them. So I pushed back on this comment, and maybe it came off as being a little defensive, but that was really the place I'm coming from, is I really want to encourage everyone to be the best version of themselves, whether it be in your hamster care or your life or your work, whatever it is. I think every day is a new day, and every day we can do something positive. This is like a personal kind of tangent, but I became a vegetarian like 10 maybe years ago. It was sort of a slow, gradual change. It started for me as like a human rights thing, that I just felt like the way people are treated in meatpacking plants, I did not agree with. And I think during COVID, we really saw that it's not so good in meatpacking plants. Anyway, I felt strongly that I did not want to be part of that industry. It wasn't really about animals for me. It was about people. But I stopped eating meat because of that. And, but I started eating tons of dairy. And I recently have been kind of like cutting back on dairy, and now I almost eat no dairy. I guess you could say I'm mostly vegan. It's not always consistent. I feel like I'm mostly vegan, and this is the way I think for most things. It's like, I feel like you got to live life in moderation, and in the same, like you can only do as much as you can do as a person, right? So I try to make the choices as best I can. But like, I remember I went on vacation in New Orleans a couple years ago, and there's like no vegetarian food, or at least I couldn't find it. It was like, can I have the green beans? The green beans have bacon in them. And at some point I just was like, all right, you know what? This is just not a trip where I am a vegetarian. But along those lines, so I stopped eating dairy, and I think, I started eating more basically at vegan restaurants and vegan food. And one thing that I find really frustrating about like vegan, like lifestyle or vegan activism is that it tends to be kind of negative. And I think it pushes people away, from like actually like giving sight on the issue. It's like, it's just this like strong, like, you guys are horrible people, rather than like, hey, like I made a choice not to eat meat because of the way people treated in meatpacking plants. And then dairy for me is about how cows are treated on dairy farms. And actually I read one of the things that really pushed me is I read this article in the Atlantic that really was very interesting, because I thought that if I bought very expensive dairy from the farmer's market, for instance. The same with eggs, okay, I'm buying from like cows that are treated well. And the reality is that, and this is what I learned from the article in, what's it called? The Atlantic, is that basically, if it says it's organic, it's actually almost worse for the animals because they're not given antibiotics when they are sick, and they're just like left to kind of die if they have, the example they have was this one cow who had who had an eye infection and just like slowly died of the eye infection. And it was really sad. And so that really pushed me over the edge. But I still strongly believe that like the best way, if you believe something, if you want to see change in the world, I think the best way to get people on your side is to invite them and not to put up this wall of aggression, right? Of like, you're wrong. I think it's more of a, hey, did you know, did you know that because I think a lot of people buy organic dairy, for instance, like I did, thinking that the animals were treated better and it was better for the environment. And it turns out a lot of that isn't maybe necessarily true. So little food for thought there. Give me 1 second. Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure this was recording. I couldn't see my screen and I thought, oh my God, what if I'm just talking and then a half hour goes by and it's gone? So that's me. And that was what's happening on my YouTube channel lately. Anyway, so in my hamster's life. So another one thing, if you've been watching my YouTube channel or Instagram or website, my hamsters are going to a hamster state fair this summer. I have set it up. The set is from Little Ham Designs US. I got it last year, I think, right before she closed all of her shops. And this one was like the biggest one. It has like the most components to it. It's like a little popcorn machine and a ticket stand and a hamburger stand and this like skee ball. And then it has this really cute background that has that like everything lights up. Like there's little battery operated lights that you can turn on everything, which is awesome. And so I put it in the Cozy Wow cage I have that I got with two of the rescue robos I have. They came together in this, it's not the worst cage. It's like 450 square inches, but definitely not what I would recommend for a hamster. So I set up the set in there. So it's great. So I can put them in there and then they can kind of explore and I can take photos of them and I can sprinkle food and let them have fun. So if you see updated photos or videos, that is happening and really fun and going well. And then over in the bigger playpen, I set up, it's a little more like, so the one in the Cozy Wow cage is like sort of red and blue, kind of like a little more patriotic themed. And then the one in the playpen is kind of more like pink and yellow, sort of more like bright colors. So a little different coloring, but still super fun. I got 2 hides from In a Dove for this playpen. And if you've been following me, I've been talking about In a Dove lately. I love this. The store is on Etsy. This person, I think it's Hannah behind the store. She does these hides. I don't know how she does them, like laser cut or something, but they're really unique and beautiful. And I got her a little gravestone for Thor from her. And then I also got a, I'm sorry if you can hear, like, I feel like I keep getting these like meeting and email updates and it's like, like, please stop. This is making me crazy. So I got a little lemonade stand from her and also this customized ice cream truck, except I made it Peggy's Popsicle. So it's a popsicle truck. And it is just the cutest thing in the world. I'm like so obsessed with them. And they're so cute to take photos with. And the one thing I would say, if I were going to buy it again, I really like them. But I got the size small on both of them and they are fairly small. It's like perfect for a robo, but the dwarfs, it's actually really cute because my dwarf hamsters still go in them, but then they look like giants. So I think if you have a hybrid dwarf, maybe I would get the bigger size if you're going to get something from In a Dove. So that's going on for Carnival. And so hopefully, you're checking out Instagram, and I'll post some photos on YouTube too, so you can see what's happening there. And then speaking of In a Dove, so like I said, I got this tiny grave for Thor. It was so cute. And I did a little funeral for him with 5 other friends last week. And it was really nice. It was so great. I was a little nervous about this, and I think I said this, like, I was nervous it was going to be weird, or maybe I'd cry, and I don't think a lot of my friends really get the hamster thing, so some of them, I've been able to convert some who, like, have held a hamster, and then they're like, oh, wow, I get this now. Once you feel their tiny paws in your hand, okay, you can see the appeal. But yeah, I think this group of friends was like, they were respectful. They weren't like into it necessarily, but they were very nice and sweet. And, we poured out a little drink for Thor, and we buried him. And I have to say it was nice, because I think it's hard, like a hamster dies, and then I kind of like, I put him in a box, I put him in the freezer, and I'm like, all right, I have to bury him. But it just like, it's like, I need to find the time, and it's nice to have it be like an event. This is a thing that's happening. I feel a lot of like closure with it, and closure in this, like, closure is such a strange word. It can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. But for me, it was just sort of like being at peace with, like, I wish I had had more time with Thor. I wish, I had more good pictures of him. There's always I wishes of like, oh, I wish I had done this or done that. But, he spent the first almost year of his life at the pet store, and then he came home with me, and when he was marked down to $3. And, on the whole, I think I made great progress with him. He really came out of his shell. He became very outgoing. When I brought him to the vet, he was so relaxed. They would say like, wow, this is an amazing hamster. So I feel very happy with that, and that I gave him that life, and I did the best I could. And that's all you can do. So I think it was a nice sort of like, let go, like, okay, we're done. And we've moved on. And so I think this is something I'm going to do for all my hamsters. Maybe try to make it like an event like that, because it was really nice. So I'd love to know what you guys do. I think one person commented about what they do with their animals when they die. But it is, pets can be wildly important in our lives, and it can be very hard, to let go. And I think it's hard because I don't think everyone understands always. So it's like, you lose your mom or a friend or a spouse, or, people understand what that feels like, what that means. But to lose a hamster, I think people are like, oh, it's just a hamster, but it's more than a hamster. You guys know that. Okay. So yeah, that one. Well, other updates, Luft Pets, if you guys have been following my YouTube and Instagram, Luft Pets sent me some guinea pig mats and like cuddle blankets. And I started using them with my hamsters. I started using them actually on the couch as like because I haven't been free roaming my hamsters other than like in the playpen really, but Dexter really wants to come out, but I don't like the idea of like hamster poops and pees on my couch. So I put down these mats and kind of set it up for them to explore, and I let him and Fred explore at different times. And it was really great. Actually, the mats are really wonderful. They have like rubber backing, like little nubs on them, so they really stick to the couch, and it's like the perfect width. It like fits right on there. And then they're waterproof, and you can just pop them in the wash. The one thing is you need to hang them to dry. You can't dry them. But they worked really well. My only complaint is that they currently just come in black, but it looks like they're going to come in other colors soon. So I'm very excited. And once they come in other colors, I think I'm going to replace, that's going to be my new playpen floor, because I use a blanket right now, and sometimes hamster nails get stuck to it. And so I don't think it's really ideal, but I do that because otherwise my hamsters can like chew through the bottom of the nylon playpen. So it is important to like have something there to keep them from chewing. But I don't think a fleece blanket is like the best choice. So yeah, I'm excited to make the switch. And you can check out my videos, and I have a blog post about it on my website too, if you want to see what it's like. But yeah, they're very nice. And it's funny, when they reach out to me, I was like, I don't have guinea pigs. And then they were like, it's okay, you can use it for other animals. People use them for other animals, like dogs or cats, to, like protect their furniture. And yeah, I was actually really surprised how handy they are. So that was great. Other things that going on. So after I ended season 1 of this podcast, I was kind of digging through my files, and I was trying to think oh, what if I started and not finished? And I saw that I had started this, I'd started a review for the Night Angel Super Silent Wheel, which then I finished and released. I also started this hamster calendar for 2023, which I never finished. But what's funny is I actually did finish it. I thought in my head that I never finished it. No, I totally finished it. I just never, I think I never found a place to publish it. So I'm going to work on that, and I'm going to do it for 2025 because the images are all done. I created cute little images for every month. And this one's kind of silly. It was I think the theme was the sexiest hamsters of the internet. I just thought that'd be funny. But maybe I'll do another one that's a little more kid friendly. I mean, it's definitely not outrageous, but it's just a little silly. So yeah, so look for that for 2025, and I'll, use all the proceeds for hamster rescues, the usual. So you can feel like your money is going to a good cause, and you'll get a really cute calendar, hopefully. Other things going on. So I got some sand baths from Bukastat. I got two more of the cheese sand baths because I love them so much. And then I got 2 cloud sand baths. They're clear. I got the small and the large. I wasn't sure what I would like better. And I put them in the playpen. I have a video I'll put it on YouTube also, of little Dexter in the small cloud sand bath from Bukastat, sleeping in there. He was just so cute. They're small. They're definitely not full-size sand baths. Usually I give these kind of large trays for my sand baths, but I started to think maybe these little pocket-sized sand baths have another purpose too, to have on a platform as another place, for them to linger in. Especially, I mean, dwarf hamsters just love doing everything in a sand bath. And lately I have these, both Peggy and Ella, they're sisters, they're 2 robos. They love to kick all their sand out of their sand bath. Ella is worse than Peggy, but Peggy also has this problem. So I was kind of thinking to replace their sand baths with more enclosed situations. So these are really cute, and I don't think they necessarily replace a sand bath, but they might be a great augmented additional thing for your hamster. So you can, I will be doing a blog post, and I'll put it on YouTube also. So you can check that out and see the size and see. The little one is definitely I thought it would be too small for Dexter, my hybrid dwarf, but he loves the little one. I think he likes the small space, and he just sits in there and nibbles and falls asleep. It's very cute. So definitely check that out. Another thing that I noticed lately, I was sort of poking around the internet, and I was looking at Exotic Nutrition. This is a brand I hadn't looked at in a while, but I used to go on their website a lot because I had their wheels. And I since have moved on from their wheels. They're good wheels, and I applaud them for being a brand that really focuses on exotic animals and giving products that are appropriate to them, especially at a time when I bought their products, there was nothing else for hamsters that was really appropriate. But I didn't love the colors. I didn't really like the bright orange and the bright yellow, just personally not my thing. So I gave those away. But I was looking at their website, and they have really upped their game. Now they have this beautiful enclosure. It looks pretty large. And then they have a lot more accessories, kind of wooden hides and that kind of stuff. So if you are in the market, and maybe for some people in different countries, or I don't know, whatever it is, you might want to check them out. So it's just exciting to see brands evolve and see more great hamster products out there. So I was very happy about that. And then my last update, which is kind of bittersweet. So little Miles, Miles is my robo who was a spinning robo. I got him from Pet Supplies Plus, where he lived for at least 8 months. He had been marked down to about $5, I think, from $20. And I couldn't tell at the time. He was just like hiding, but I think this is why he didn't get purchased. When I got him home, he would spin in very tight circles and pace. And I brought him to the vet, and the vet was like, okay, it's probably just OCD and stress. And she recommended that I try to make his cage more complicated. And I was going slow on it. I first, he had this very simple bin cage because I was afraid to do anything, because every time I did anything, he would get really stressed out. And so slowly I was adding things, and recently, maybe a couple weeks ago, I added the Taffet Pet. They have those multi-room kind of peep chambers. And then I added this interesting piece of cardboard that I got from, or actually my mom got it from a wine shipment. And then I added one of the cheese sand baths from Bukastat, and another little wooden hide, and some rocks, and I was and a ton of sprays. And I, was just trying to little by little add things. And one day he just started coming out during the day, and normally I couldn't catch him in the cup. But he walked in the little plastic cup, and I brought him to the playpen. And as long as I wasn't looking at him or near him, he seemed super happy. He was just casually walking around, no spinning, exploring, sniffing, eating, grooming, all the nice relaxed habits you want to see. And then, and the first time getting him back into his cage, I had to kind of catch him with the cup, because he was a little bit nervous when I got close, and he would start spinning and pacing again once I approached. But yeah, every day went by, he came out again, and it got better and better. And he started just really relaxing, and would come out and walk easily into the cup. And I just was so blown away by the progress. I mean, it just felt like night and day. One day it's oh my gosh, this hamster is born again. I could tell he was getting older. He started having that older robo look, where his head was sort of becoming more segmented looking from his body, and he's starting to get a little hunchback. But I thought maybe I had a little more time. And unfortunately, yesterday I noticed he didn't come out at all. And it was so strange, because he had been coming out every day. And then I looked in his nest, and there he was. So, so sorry. So alas, little Miles, it's such a bummer. I mean, I'm so glad that his last moments were hopefully happy and relaxed, and he had finally unwound. I'm so bummed with how much progress I made with him, and that it's over. I was just so excited to have him out and about, and I felt so it was just a very accomplished feeling of having this hamster who seems uncurable, to see him really change his ways. So that was kind of sad and bittersweet. So I'm going to have to get another grave. I did clear out his cage already. I just can't stand looking at the empty cage. And I think what I'm going to do, I would love to there's a part of me that's oh, I should fill that bin with another hamster that's in need. But I think instead what I'm going to do is take his stuff and combine it with what I have for Peggy, one of my other robos, and try to make a bin cage that's a little bit more complicated, a little bit more stuff going on. Because I do think my bin cages are a little bit on the simple side. I try to hit the necessities and definitely give them more than what they need. And they definitely have, 10 to 12 inches of burrowing space and multiple textures and sprays and stuff, but it could be better. And so this is a nice challenge to kind of take my hamster, what do you call it? When you create a cage, I can't think of the word. But to take it to the next level and really make a much more intricate cage. So I'm going to try. I'll let you guys know how it goes. But that's what I'm working on now, is just sort of cleaning up his stuff, and then, and then kind of rebuilding a cage, and I'm going to use it for Peggy, but it will still be a bin cage, a 200 quart bin cage. I thought about buying one more cage, but I'm still sort of in debate of how many hamsters I want to consistently have, outside of like if rescues come upon me. Right now I have 3 like good cages. I have 2 Vistas and I have this Proly cage. So I might just stick with that. I just love how flexible bin cages are, and you can stack them and stick them in the garage or whatever you need to do. So that is nice. I feel like if I invest in another cage, it's just like, it's a lot of investment of space and money, and yeah. So anyway, yeah. And I guess that's everything. So I hope you enjoyed the update today, and I hope you guys are all having good hamster weeks. And yeah, if you have any feedback, questions, thoughts, if you would like to be on the podcast, let me know. You can email me. I'm at rachelgothamsters@gmail.com, and you can leave a comment on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcasts. The one thing I'm going to request, this is new. I never ever say like, please like and subscribe, because I don't know, I'm not one of those people. But I will say, because I do care about this podcast, if you wouldn't mind leaving a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or if you want to just leave a comment, if you listen on YouTube, leaving a comment is really great too, and helps get it views. That would be really great and lovely, and I would really appreciate that. So thank you so much, and I will see you in my next episode. Bye.